joined with our stockroom manager, Bert. Want to say hi, Bert? If you've ever gotten an online order from us, this little guy runs our fulfillment and shipping center. So he's been making sure that your orders go out fast, but also accurate. But the reason that we're here today for this video is I am walking through and sharing my pages and giving you a tour of my Wanderlust Passport from my trip to Utah in January of 2022, so about a year and a half ago. And I just kind of want to show you how I think about filling out my pages while I'm on the road. Some of it I did while I was traveling, and then some of it I waited until I got home. But I think the key takeaways are that there's really no right or wrong way to do it. You'll see that some of my pages are really quite sloppy, but it doesn't matter because those things are just for me and apparently for you. But for the most part, give yourself some grace. And when you look at something that's fully completed, it can seem very overwhelming and very daunting. And it might seem like a challenge for you to fill one out. You're gonna think, I can't fill out a whole journal like this. But as I start to break things down and you kind of flip through the pages, you'll learn that it's actually quite easy. It doesn't take a ton of discipline because you're only documenting the things that are worth documenting when you travel. And you can fill it with a lot of photos. So let's go take a look through my passport. Of course, if you like this content and you want to see more of it, do a like and subscribe. That would absolutely help me out. Or leave a comment below. Tell me what you want to see, what you'd like to see more of, and if you've got any specific questions. And Bert and we will be on it, I promise. So without further ado, we'll head on over to the counter and I'll give you a quick tour of my Wanderlust Passport. Alrighty, so this is my Wanderlust Passport from January of 2021 is when I started this. And this particular book spans mainly one trip, but there's a couple additions from other experiences sprinkled in there. You'll see it's nice and thick and bloated, but it's not as chunk as this one. And this is from my trip to Norway. This was one full trip, and it was 2 weeks, so that's why this one's really bloated. And then I will also do a review and a Wanderlust Passport tour of this journal, which is lots of little trips and day, like staycation trips, as well as just milestones and fun things. So it's not necessarily travel related as much as these are, but it'll be kind of cool for you to see how I think about the different things that I want to put into my Wanderlust Passport. So this is for my trip to Utah, and obviously I can tell because I collect all the stickers from the different places and then I put them right on top. That way when I have them on a shelf, I know which ones I can grab. I loved this one because it looks like something else, a little on the feminine side, but that's supposed to be Antelope Canyon, in case you were wondering, why does she have a giant vagine on her book? So this particular passport too is our previous edition, so it doesn't have the elastic band on the back. I actually don't like the elastic bands. I take them off, but these ones, they didn't even come with it. So this is the older edition. Also, the pages were not as thick as our current one, so just some of the minor differences. But let's dig in. Ooh. So this is the trip index, and basically this is a list of everything that I wrote in this book. And as I was working my way through it, I would just write down in order all the places that we went to, so that way I could kind of easily reference it. And then this is our wish list. So these were the things that we were planning on doing on this trip that we ended up not getting to. And so I wrote that here. And then I just wrote some other things that I wanted to do for the rest of the year. So I put Iceland and Norway. But I knew that I was going in 2022, so that's why it was on my wish list. We have our color-in map, and I was getting a little creative here, and I actually just used washi tape to fill in, so I cut out the shape of the state using an X-Acto knife, but I used washi tape, so I thought that was kind of fun. Our current books don't have this bleed through as much because we use 110 GSM paper. It's a little bit thicker, so it can hold up to a lot of the markers that I recommend, specifically the Tombos. So this is our first entry, and it's from New Year's Eve. And I totally remember this. You know, December 2021 was still like pretty COVID-y, and we went to this place called Pappy and Harriet's, and we were so excited because we wanted to go and get barbecue there. But we had tickets to this New Year's event thinking we could go there and eat, and in the end we ended up not getting food. We didn't participate because there was just so many people crammed in this tiny place, and I was like, what in the COVID? I was like not ready to get, I didn't even want to catch a cold, let alone get the flu or get COVID. So we ended up just sleeping out in our van, and it was freezing. We were just so not prepared. But I did keep my wristband for the event that we didn't go to, and I did draw on the queso and the palomas that we drank over at Red Dog Saloon, which is kind of in the same area. If you've never been to Pioneer Town and you're in the high desert near Palm Springs, Coachella Valley, definitely go to Pappy and Harriet's because it's super cool. And then this is our first drive day for our trip to Utah. So we took, I mean, how long? January 15th till January 28th. We took a 2-week trip, and we started off by going through the Mojave Desert from Palm Springs to get towards like St. George, Utah, which is where my in-laws live. I love stopping here at Roy's. This is in a little kind of roadside abandoned town, I guess, called Amboy, but it's really cool. They have this awesome vintage sign, so we always try and like stop there and get a photo. And you're gonna see like embarrassing things because these are my actual personal journals. So yeah, there's a lot of this is not meant for the internet. It's actually meant for me, but I'm sharing it here with you because I just want you to see the things you can put in there. So we went into Zion, and we actually camped inside Zion because we didn't want to be stuck waiting to get into the park. So by camping in there, we're like already in there. And if you've ever gone camping or you do any RVing, the bathroom situation is always noteworthy and super important. So 5 stars for this one. Clearly very excited. And this spread is just sort of a continuation of our visit in Zion. That's why I put this string of washi tape up here. This particular washi tape is from the Little Red House, and I went with a very like kind of woodsy nature themed washi. Aggie, who designs this, she's my former studio mate. She just makes the cutest stuff. So this is kind of our first visit in. Of course, I had to get my cancellation stamp, my Junior Ranger stamp, and we just hiked around, and I just had Harriet in my backpack. She loved it. And Craig and I always love to find places where we've taken photos before and take another photo there. So we did this one in 2019 where it was covered in snow, and then us back again in 2022. And 2019 was the first year that we had gone to Zion. I was blown away. I still get blown away. So this is our campground like parking permit. So I kept that. I just glue it down on one side, and then I can still use the rest of the passport. But Zion Brewery, I remember that, well, first of all, the fries are amazing, but there were these like cats that would just hang out on the patio, and I'm deathly allergic to cats, but I will do whatever it takes to get an animal to come near me. And like these cats are just waiting for their French fry handout, so that was pretty cute. And then I actually got to roller skate. So I love my husband because if he sees a nice patch of asphalt, he'll always stop and ask me like, do you want to bust out your roller skates? So I got to skate in the park, which was so magical. I didn't get to skate long because there were some buses that I was worried were going to come through. I did a little bit of sketching. I remember kind of pulling off. It was really icy, and we went on this trail headed towards the Narrows, and Craig went ahead just to see like how icy it was going to be, and so I just kind of stopped and did some sketching. See, this is the stuff I'm not going to put on Instagram, but I'm clearly putting it on YouTube. There was a live photo where I was on a rock, and you know how like live photos, you take a photo, but then you can go back and play it, and it caught like the 1 second that I was like tooting on a rock. And of course, it was hysterical. I like this spread because it's just photos. I always try and like keep photos to a minimum because I really want to focus, not on just taking hella pictures and being in the moment, but sometimes there's just a lot of pictures you want to remember and a lot of moments you want to remember. Like this. This was our first night at a hotel. It was called Ruby's Inn, and the only thing they had was on TV was The Office. And I just remember like literally watching that nonstop. You can't complain. It's not. Oh yeah. The only thing on TV is back-to-back episodes of The Office. So I wrote that down here. So this is when we finally made it to Bryce Canyon. So here I wrote down, we stayed at Best Western Ruby's Inn. I gave it 2 stars. It was $100 a night after taxes. It was just so cold there that we knew we wouldn't be able to stay in the van, so that was our one night at a hotel. But I like to kind of overlap the pages, mix in a little bit of writing with a little bit of doodles. As much as I love collecting these little stamps, I also really like these. They come from the national parks, and every park has it where it has like a little blurb, and then you get a sticker that actually kind of has this like stamp cut out around it. I love these, so I'm starting to collect these from all the different parks. Did some doodling. And here again, I'm using Aggie's washi tape from the Little Red House. I also like to fill in the top and do these little doodles because it's, again, I don't need to be writing the same thing over every time, but I don't want to leave it blank, and maybe I don't want to use washi tape, so here I just kind of drew the skyline. If you can go to Bryce in the winter, I highly recommend it. One, because the bright orange rock against the bright white snow is so incredible to see, but also it's like having your own private park. We saw probably like a dozen people the entire time we were there. It's amazing. It's really, really cold, but it's amazing. Oh, we bought bought talons for our boots. It was the best $30 ever. We actually bought crampons because it's so icy, and we wanted to go on some trails, and like this was the best $30 we'd ever spent because we actually got to go on trails and like walk across the parking lot without having to kill ourselves. So and then I just wrote some of the scenic spots that we went to, and I wrote whether it was a vista, if we hiked it, and if we brought the dogs. So this is sort of my little, way of writing down a lot of things that we did without having to like write down everything that we did. And Craig loves my Crocs, which he does not love my Crocs. But I felt like I wanted to rewrite history a little bit, so I put that in there. You'll also notice in this one, I'm using my Instax, which is kind of a bulkier print, kind of like a Polaroid. Here I'm using the high print, the Polaroid high print. So it's a sticker picture. I love how thin it is, like it's literally like a sticker. But I'm not a huge fan of like the color. It just, the wash on it just seems a little bit off to me, as where like you get this cool vintagey feel from a Polaroid or an Instax, and it has like a little bit of a warmer tone. I don't know how to describe it. If you want to learn more about the two different printers, you can go back to my video where I review the Polaroid high print and the Instax, and it's mainly in the context of what I like to use for travel journaling rather than like the nuts and bolts hardware of the two, but it's probably my most commonly asked question. So here we are again, more pictures of Navajo Loop. Here you can really see like, it's just this white snow and then the bright red stone, which is so cool. So part of Navajo Loop is this series of switchbacks, and it goes down and it like can be pretty steep. And at one point I was like, do I just slide down on my butt, or like do I just try and hike down this thing? And I wanted to remember kind of the geology around the canyon, but of course I'm not going to write all that down. So I actually just tore this out from the map that you get when you go to a national park. You get the little pamphlet. I just ripped this part out and then added some photos. And then this area, this is where I proposed divorce to Craig. And we always have this little inside joke where we can't wait to divorce each other so that we can get remarried, because we are just so in love. It's so gross, I know. And on this spread, it was just a drive day, so didn't really want to put anything here. I did write the conditions down. It was obviously sunny and 45 degrees. Oh, so this part, after we had done arches, we did one day where we went out to Castle Valley. So Craig and I are huge Westworld fans. Westworld season 1 is like one of the most amazingly made shows ever. And a lot of it was filmed in Castle Valley. So we were going around trying to find like all the spots that they had filmed at, and we brought our drone and we wanted to just try and go and see like the different scenes, and we found a couple of them, but not all of them. Oh, I think we spent a lot of time trying to get the drone to work, and we couldn't, and at that point we were like wasting time, so we just ended up going back. But oh, that's right. See, this is why these books are so great. So, Delicate Arch, which is what the park is most known for, there's like two ways to go and see it. There's one way where everyone goes and this is the view you get. And then there's another way when you hike it and you end up on the other side from the back. So we've done the hike where you end up on the back, but we wanted to go to the proper hike. And it's an intermediate hike. It's not easy, but we went in the snow and we saw some guy like literally fall down the mountain because there was this icy patch on the trail. And Craig and I had tried to go, and he slipped and fell. He didn't go into the ravine, but we just decided we weren't going to risk it. And then in the end, that fall, I think, gave Craig like a pretty bad injury. We ended up having to cut our trip a little bit short because of it. But I forgot about that. Yeah. See, ice baby. There was a guy that like went all the way into this ravine. And then we went to Dead Horse State Park, and I was telling you guys that we wanted to try and find all the Westworld spots, and we freaking found it. So this is the scene where William beheads, or not beheads, he like scalps Kissy. And Craig and I found it, the exact same spot. We set the tripod up and everything. I can't even begin to tell you how happy I was that I got this photo. So happy. Like he's even like wearing my hat. I love it. It doesn't look like anything to me. One thing that we also liked about Dead Horse, so a lot of the national parks, you can't bring your dogs on any of the trails, mainly for, you know, preservation. It can be the other animals, because if other wild animals can smell your dogs, they won't necessarily come out, they'll stay away. But Dead Horse State Park is one of the parks that allows dogs on trails, so we were really excited to be able to take the weens there, and Bert got a little bit of an adventure time. It's still a little bit sketchy because, you know, there's a lot of prickly things out there. Here it is. So I guess we went back to Balance Rock for a night sky attempt on a different night, because these are the photos. And like, this is how good it came out printed on one of those Polaroids. So like, you know, this photo was amazing. And then we made our way over to Monument Valley, and we've stayed here before. It's called Goulding's, and it's an RV park that's like in this canyon just across the highway from Monument Valley. And we've stayed there before, and my first memory of it was how good the frickin' showers were. And when we went back, I was like, oh, they're really like not that great, but I think, you know, sometimes when you're just on the road for so long, you just want to get power washed like a baby elephant and a freaking fire hose, and that's really what I remembered. It was like a heated shower and like a lot of water pressure. We stopped at Gooseneck State Park again, which kind of was like, it looks almost just like Horseshoe Bend. Really cool spot. And I love this. So at Goulding's, most RV sites, they give you like a sheet, and it's, you know, a list of rules and when you can check out and what's nearby and the Wi-Fi password. And the second rule on this sheet, I ended up cutting it and keeping it because it was so good. Don't leave your shoes outside because a dog will take it. Keep them inside with you, especially at nighttime. And it's funny because like we were in a canyon, and like you can hear dogs like whimpering and crying, and like coyotes howling all night, and it's really loud, which is also crazy because when we were there, there's like one other van there the entire time. It was completely deserted. And this is when we found out that Bert does not like driving over rumble strips, and he's always been such a good like car dog, and he started to develop anxiety from this trip, and I guess it happened on this part of the adventure. These are just some pictures and things. I love this sticker because it's a photograph of a patch. Like, that's the sticker, is a photograph of a patch. It's not even like drawn to look like a patch. So I was like, I definitely have to have this. But if you can, definitely try going to Monument Valley Navajo Park. It's so cool. It's not part of the like federal state parks, so you do have to pay. Even if you have a national parks pass, you still have to pay, and it's $20, and it's self-guide, so you kind of take your car in and you drive through, but it's really, really beautiful. We then went to Lake Powell, and that thing was freaking empty. I couldn't believe it. The drought was really, really bad then, and just boats were like way down at the bottom. This is Craig. We had to get him a cane because when he fell in Monument Valley, it got like so bad he could barely walk. Also, a lot of these, it's really hard to tell from this photo, but was also in Westworld. But this particular like array of rocks, it just looked like the city of Oz. It was pretty cool. And of course, I had to get my cancellation stamp. And then my friend Kira told me about this really, really cool spot. And it's, these are the coordinates. I don't know what it's called. Stacked Cars Near Pariah is what I wrote, but I know Pariah was one of the ghost towns that we went to. But it's literally like old 50s cars, like full steel, just kind of like stacked. And that's what holds part of the highway up. So you're driving through all this red rock. You wouldn't even really know it's there. You have to go by these coordinates. And you find this weird turnoff. You park in this turnoff, and then you have to hike down and get back under the road. And it's just all of these metal cars just jammed in there. And that's what they built the road on top of. So it's really cool. Here's Craig. Craig took a photo of me staring at all the cars. And there he is with his pimp cane. This was also a very cool stop. We did this Pariah Ghost Town Cemetery, and it's off the road and then like off the road a little bit more. There was a point where I was like, ooh, will the van be able to get out of here? But these like painted mountains looked so cool. And you can't see these mountains off the side of the road. It's kind of just like, it looks like it's really flat everywhere. This mountain hill is like sunken in. So we had to drive through this area and then go downhill into this ravine. And then that's where we saw this. And yeah, there was some settlers that lived there, and the cemetery is still there. And I think they ended up having to leave. Oh yeah, see, this is why I have a passport. They had to leave after multiple floods, so all their crops were destroyed. But what's really cool is you can camp here. We did see some people camping. And then we met up with my friend Kira, who works at Best Friends Animal Sanctuary. We just did a little walk around a lake in Kanab. We stayed at this place called the Dark Sky RV Campground, and go here. It was so freaking cute. We even got a sticker from them. I think it's somewhere in here. This place, so freaking cute. In fact, like, the bathroom was adorable. I put luxurious pooping. It's kind of like not full glamping because it's an RV park, but they just had like cool amenities. Like, they gave you a fire pit that had like a s'mores kit or something. And I remember Craig got like a blanket, and in the end it was just so cold that we didn't really take advantage of it, but it was really, really cool. Oh, he got us a fire pit and propane. Oh, it was so cute. But I did try and get some night sky shots, so I wrote Harry and Bert. I definitely want to go back here. I know that in February, sometime around my birthday, they have a hot air balloon festival in Kanab. If you plan on doing that, I highly recommend booking a spot here because it was so freaking cool. And a major highlight for us was getting a private tour of Best Friends Animal Sanctuary. So my friend Kira works there, and she gave us a full tour and even the dogs got to go, which was really cool. I mean, they stayed in the van, but they got to drive around. We got to see the pigs and the horses and the birds and the donkeys. Here are the pigs. I really wanted to take one home, but they're only adopted out in pairs. So this place is so cool because it is a completely no-kill shelter, and they work with shelters across the country so that they can do like trades to help make sure the animals get moved through. Oops. I like this. This was a sign in the bathroom. Please wash your hands for 20 seconds or as long as it takes your dog to do 4 zoomies. And then just some of the stickers and stuff. And then we ended the trip at the coral pink sand dunes. And this is where you can find these little like special beetles. They are considered one of the rarest insects in the United States, but of course we did not see a single one, so that's a lie for all I know. And then just some blank pages. I put just some extra stickers in here. My Croc sticker. I really loved this one because the O was crooked, the Monument Valley. So, and then I saved our Parks Pass. So that's a tour of my Wanderlust Passport from Moab. And of course, if you like what you see and you want to get your own Wanderlust Passport, you can find us online at bobodesignstudio.com.